Bill Carlos, Second Ward.
Joe Conti, Third Ward.
Todd Tancredi, Supervisor.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
And then we have a couple members downstairs on their way up, but we'll get started. We have a short agenda tonight. I'm going to read through agenda items for those who don't have an agenda in front of them, and then we'll take questions on agenda items. Item number one is a proclamation designating April as Worldwide Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month. Two is to approve policies and procedures in the police department for domestic violence incidents. Three is to accept the resignation of a part-time employee in the courts. Four is the promotion of one of our water department employees. Five is the demotion of one of our water department employees. Six is to authorize town clerk to attend the town clerk convention. Seven is to set the public hearing date for amendment to our town code concerning energy facilities, solar and wind energy. Eight is to waive, it's a request for a waiver from Croft Corners Firehouse for an annual public assembly license fee. And then we have three special consents. Special consent number one is to authorize Dutchess County All Hazards Mitigation Plan for the town to be a part of that plan. Two is to appoint a new deputy highway superintendent. And three is a resolution naming March as Colon Cancer Awareness Month. So I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for public comment on agenda items.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone here who'd like to speak to an agenda item? Yes, sir. Mr. Armstrong.
Just a couple of questions on what is that all hazard mitigation plan? What does that involve?
It's a plan that we'd be a part of the county, a countywide plan for major storm events and so on. And it puts us in line for reimbursement, FEMA reimbursement, and things like that. We're a part of it now, but I think the county's updating their hazard planning and major event planning for major storm events and so on. So it's something we're a part of, but I think they're updating their procedures.
Hazardous spills and so forth as well, or
I don't know. I think it's primarily storm related.
Okay. And the deputy highway superintendent, is that a new position or just filling the whole position?
We had a retiree a week or two ago. This is to replace a current employee that we're promoting to this position to replace the retired individual.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Seeing no one, I make a motion to resume the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Whereas Parkinson's disease is a progressive neurological movement disorder of the central nervous system, which has a unique impact on each patient, and whereas according to the Parkinson's Action Network, the Parkinson's Disease Foundation, the American Parkinson's Disease Foundation, and National Institutes of Health, there are over 1 million Americans diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and whereas symptoms include slowness, tremor, difficulty with balance and speaking, rigidity, cognitive and memory problems, and whereas although new medicines and therapies may enhance life for some people, for some time for people with Parkinson's, more work is needed for a cure. Whereas increased education and research are needed to help find more effective treatments with fewer side effects and ultimately a cure for Parkinson's disease. And whereas a multidisciplinary approach to Parkinson's disease care includes local wellness support and caregiver groups, and whereas April has been proclaimed as Worldwide Parkinson's Awareness Month for all to recognize the need for more research and help in dealing with the devastating effects of Parkinson's disease. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie proudly proclaims the month of April 2015 as Parkinson's Awareness Month, encourages all municipal officials, citizens, and visitors to participate in the scheduled activities to learn more about Parkinson's disease. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Number 2, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the Town of Poughkeepsie Police Department Policy and Procedure Number 7-3000 entitled Police Officer Involved Domestic Violence Incidents, which policy is attached and incorporated herein. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with regret the resignation of Brittany Haid from her position of permanent part-time clerk effective February 19th, 2015. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby promote Michael Raphael from the position of laborer to water maintenance mechanic with the Town of Poughkeepsie Water Department effective March 14th, 2015, at the annual salary of $40,415, such promotion being subject to probationary period of not less than 8 nor more than 26 weeks per civil service law. And be it further resolved, the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby demote James Normandin from the position of water distribution operator grade D to water maintenance mechanic with the Town of Poughkeepsie Water Department effective March 14th, 2015, at an annual salary of $52,250 at the request, as requested by Keith Ballard, Water Superintendent. And be further resolved, the Town Board is authorized to execute and file all documentations required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Demote's a strong word here, but basically the situation, Mr. Normandin has a certain class of a license that he had as an employee that he chose not to renew. So he's still an employee in good standing, but he had received an increase when he got the license. So now that he doesn't have it, we're moving him back to where he was. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize Town Clerk Felicia Salvatore to attend the New York State Town Clerks Association Annual Conference from April 26, 2015 through April 29, 2015 in Rochester, New York, funding for which is included in the Town Clerk's budget. And be it further resolved that the Town Clerk Felicia Salvatore is hereby is authorized to utilize a town vehicle to travel to and from said conference and subject to budget limits and applicable town policies to apply for reimbursement for fuel, food, and tolls for the conference. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Whereas the Town Board is considering an amendment to Chapter 210, specifically Section 210-67.1 entitled Energy Facilities, whereas proposed amendments are attached hereto and incorporated herein, and the town does hereby waive a verbatim reading of said amendments and does direct that said amendments be spread across the record as if they in fact have been read verbatim. Whereas the action to amend zoning law is a Type 1 action of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act seeker, and whereas the Town Board has determined that the proposed amendments must be referred to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Economic Development and to the Town Planning Board for review and recommendations. And whereas the amendments of Chapter 210 require a public hearing, now therefore be it resolved. 1. The town hereby states that because only the Town Board can consider and adopt changes to the town code, that is the only involved lead agency, and the Board hereby declares that it is the lead agency for purposes of coordinated environmental review of this matter pursuant to Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law. And 2. The Town Board hereby sets a public hearing on the proposed amendments of the town code for April 1st, 2015, 7 p.m. or soon after, as the matter may come to be heard in Town Hall, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York. 3. The Town Board refers this matter to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Economic Development for recommendation pursuant to GML 239M. And 4. The Town Board refers this matter to the Planning Board for an advisory report pursuant to Town Code Section 210-154. 5. The Town Board directs the Town Clerk to notify the clerks of the surrounding municipalities of the public hearing pursuant to GML 239NN. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to see if Neil could come up and give us a brief overview of what these changes are going to be.
Yeah, we adopted this section, the energy facilities section, I think in 2012, maybe. I forgot at this point. But anyway, we've had a couple of years of experience, and the adjustments that we're making are basically to clarify some of the language in terms of screening for the ground-mounted solar facilities. We've also proposing to allow, where right now we prohibit the solar, I'm sorry, the
Wind.
windmill
Wind.
Yeah.
facilities in the R20 and the neighborhood business districts. Our proposal is to allow those, subject to the height limitations for the district. In particular, I had talked with Councilman Baisley. He's got somebody, I guess, in his ward who's interested in
Yeah, some of them
pursuing.
have
It's, it's small.
Shrunk in size, they're not as big as the ones you see out in the wind fields. Some
Right.
of them are, this one in general is 4 foot. So it's small in nature, you wouldn't even notice it when it was there, so something that's not allowed now. And it's something that's actually self-sufficient, backfeeds the battery, which would be a benefit to the homeowners.
Right, so we would limit the size of basically the diameter of the, and interestingly enough, it's not just simply the ones where the blades are vertical, but they also have.
Yeah, the turbines.
Yeah, so anyway, so that's the adjustments that you're seeing, but a lot of it has to do with screening and just some clarification of the language as we had, again, gained, some experience in administering this section of the code.
Anything else?
Thanks, Neil.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Bill?
Item 8, be it resolved that pursuant to the request of the Croft Corners Volunteer Fire Company, Inc., the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby waive the annual public assembly license fee in the sum of $100 for various company meetings, training sessions, and use by community organizations. So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
9, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items, to wit: 1, authorize from Supervisor Tancredi, Dutchess County, All Hazards Mitigation Plan 2 appoint from Highway Superintendent Pfeiffer Michael Simon, Deputy Highway Superintendent. Resolution from Supervisor Tancredi, March 2015, Colon Cancer Awareness Month. And be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the Town Board, an item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby authorized the supervisor and his designees to participate with the County of Dutchess in development of the Dutchess County All Hazards Mitigation Plan. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby promote Michael Simon to the position of Deputy Superintendent with the Town of Poughkeepsie Highway Department effective immediately at a salary of $34.88 per hour. Such promotion being subject to a probationary period of not less than 8 nor more than 26 weeks per civil service law, and be further resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Simon's here tonight, so if anybody has any questions, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to answer them.
Come on up later, we'll take you home, we'll take a look at you. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome aboard, thanks.
One of his few nights off this winter.
Just leave your cell
Hey, you
phone
guys did
number
a
out.
great job last night. It sure looked like it was gonna be a lot worse. When I woke up and saw gravel, I said, great job.
You didn't get up till noon, Joe.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Congratulations, Mike.
I'll be needing your cell phone number.
SC3, whereas colorectal cancer is the number 2 cancer killer in the United States, and whereas likelihood of developing colon cancer during your lifetime is 1 in 20, and whereas colorectal cancer is one of the most preventable types of cancer and often curable when detected early, and whereas March has been proclaimed as Colon Cancer Awareness Month, now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie proudly proclaims the month of March 2015 as Colon Cancer Awareness Month. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. That brings us to the end of our agenda. I'd like to make a motion to accept public comment on town issues.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone here would like to address the board? Green?
Since you mentioned the highway department, what is the overtime budget looking like for highway with all the snow?
Next question?
We, we just came through February, so we're keeping a tally each month. I mean, each one of our line items, we have subcontractors, we have overtime, we have salt. Probably we're going to exceed all of them. This winter's been worse financially than last. We thought last would be, one of the worst. This winter's been worse. What Mark and I talk, very often, especially during a winter like this. So one of the things one of the issues we're dealing with right now is we have 2 vacancies in the highway department. We're going to leave those vacancies open until, the dust settles, the snow stops. We see where we are with each of these budget items and if we know, which I think based on the end of January, we're going to be over on most of these items. So we'll see where we stand, and we're going to keep those vacant if we have to make up that money. I mean, Mark, obviously needs all hands on deck in a winter like this, but he also understands the need to, find the money to pay for the services. So these guys have been working, overtime and then some, doing a good job. So, in addition to that, you have slips and falls. I know one guy in particular slipped on the ice within the last week, and luckily didn't break anything, but sprained his ankle. So, winter in the Northeast can be very cruel.
Okay, now, my other question, and I was hoping that Mr. Nelson would be here on this one. It's about Fairview Commons, and I had sent the town board an email, and Fairview Commons is on Fulton Street in Councilman Saffone's ward. And I saw on the planning board agenda that that the applicant, Fairview Commons, the Page Park Associates, asked for relief from the town code, where right now the town code says that until the final signed site plans until the final site plans for a project are signed, you're not supposed to remove any trees on the project site. And that was something that the board put into place, I think it was about maybe 2008, I'm not exactly certain, but it was quite a while ago. And you did that to prevent situations where previously people would, come in, they would cut down all the trees on the site, and then maybe the project didn't go forward, and then, you're left with a barren site. So they've asked for relief from Town Code Section 210-151H, which says, "The site owner or applicant shall not commence any site preparation, including but not limited to tree removal, removal of soil, etc." So does the planning board have the authority to give them relief from that section of the town code?
There's a reason we asked you to come
There are no
back.
one-word answers in my vocabulary. I wasn't aware of that request, and I've not looked at 210-158-8,
No,
quite honestly.
210-151H.
151H.
Right.
Well, I haven't looked at either of them.
Okay. Well, I prefer
But
you look at 151H.
I will be happy to look at it,
Okay.
and I'll talk to Neil, and I'll advise the supervisor, and I think that sounds like the right protocol, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, they have
When is the meeting?
asked for a special meeting for this, and it's March 5th. And the reason for this is they're trying to get this through before the March 31st deadline, where you're not supposed to cut certain trees because of the Indiana bat habitat. So even though their final site plans are not signed, they want to go ahead and remove the trees because otherwise they will have to wait. And I also know you can't talk about this, but I also know that there is legal actions, lawsuits against the town on the site, and, you know, you don't know the outcome of them, of the lawsuit. Nobody knows what the outcome is. But in general, my concern is that if you let them do this, then the next project that comes along, you know, they could potentially ask for relief from this too, and now you've set a precedent. And one of the conditions that the planning department staff said, well, maybe they can give, what was this? I guess, it said, a legal letter of consent from the town's director of municipal development, which would be Mr. Neil Wilson. Now, in all the planning board meetings I've gone to in the last 15 years, I don't know that I've ever heard of somebody being issued a legal letter of consent in order for them to sort of bypass the town law. So that's my question. The planning board meeting, special meeting, 5 o'clock on Thursday. And I also have to say that I have another concern about that with Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson is town's director of municipal development. He also has his own private business. And he used to be partners in LRC Group. And LRC Group is the applicant's engineering firm. So, first of all, I don't know that it would be appropriate in my mind for Mr. Wilson to be issuing a legal letter of consent for any sort of waiver to his former partner, even if it's not a conflict of interest. To me, it's the appearance of a conflict of interest, and I would think you would want to avoid that at all costs. So, you know, and again, I'm against this, you know, because I believe that it will set a bad precedent, and, you know, you enacted, many of you were on the board then, and you enacted it for a reason. And again, even if there's a restoration plan, if they agree to, you're taking down trees there that are probably, 30 feet tall, some of those trees, and anything they're going to plant is not really going to restore it to its previous condition if the project doesn't go through. So, okay, thank you, Mr. Nelson.
You're welcome. Thanks, Doreen. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I also wish Mr. Nelson didn't leave when he was talking about this energy facilities. And they were talking about the type of wind objects, and they're only going to maybe 4 feet tall, 5 foot tall. And I was going to ask him what other procedures are put in place to protect anyone from walking into those things. I mean, 4 foot. Nighttime or somebody where they shouldn't be, regardless, runs into them or walks into them.
That's part of the screening issue, would be the height. And it's not 4 foot tall. The unit itself is 4 foot, could be 25 feet up in the air. Yeah, it's not 4 foot tall. The size is 4 foot.
4 foot across,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But still, I mean, it seems to me that it's something different, the type of protection around it, these things in 20 foot tall. I think I'd be upset if it's being put in my neighbor's yard, but I guess that remains to be seen as how it comes off.
What we said tonight was the public hearing, so, you know, you can get a copy of the proposed,
I put that down.
you know, changes to the code and take a look at them.
And a comment on the last person that was up there, Doreen, about the conflict of interest and changing these rules for people. I've commented a few times at some of the meetings I've been to, is hearing some of the people that are coming in for variances on their properties and stuff, and I oftentimes question, what do we got these rules here for if we're going to just, seems like arbitrarily give people what they want, whether it's 5 feet away from the house or 15 feet away from the house. I just think there's a little bit too much of, oh, what the heck, let them have it. And I think this stuff has got to be taken a little bit more serious from what I've been hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? See no one, I make a motion to adjourn the rules.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Town board adjourns at 7:25 PM.
Bring